My name is Caroline Louise van der Westhuizen. I am a geek. I'm a molecular neurobiologist. My hearing loss is a profound bilateral sensory neuronal deafness, which means it's a very high level of deafness in both ears. I had meningitis when I was a baby, and while we don't know for sure that that's the cause of the hearing loss, it does seem to be the most likely culprit. The reason why we're talking today stems from nearly 5 years ago when I was diagnosed with a stage 3 cancer in my right breast. While we were in lockdown and I was trying to homeschool my 2 daughters and look after my elderly mother who lived with us, I kept on noticing very odd sensations in my right breast that I would have described as a stitch. It would come and go, and this lasted for quite some time, and all the way through this we were being encouraged not to leave the house environment too much, to be mindful of the demand in the health service, and foolishly, in retrospect, I didn't think that this was important, and I just thought I'd deal with it at some point. It didn't go away, so several months later, I decided that actually I really needed to do something about this. I was rapidly referred to the hospital, had a mammogram and then an ultrasound. It was decided that I would follow a fairly conventional treatment plan at the time, which involved 6 rounds of chemotherapy, followed by surgery, then after recovery from the surgery, some radiotherapy. When doing radiotherapy to areas like the right chest wall, one of the techniques that is recommended is called deep inspiration breath hold, and the whole idea behind DIBH is to create some physical space between the area that is receiving the radiotherapy and more vulnerable organs within your body, and then this minimises the possibility of collateral damage. And this all sounds great in principle, but in practice, when you're hearing impaired, what this means is you have to listen to instructions over an intercom system telling you when to take in your breath hold, how long to hold your breath, and when to release it, even without the noise of the linear accelerator. I found that quite challenging, and then when the linear accelerator was actually in play, I found it impossible. At the time, the treatment team said, don't worry about this, we're very used to doing this kind of procedure, we'll just go ahead and we'll just do the procedure. I felt reassured at that time, but I realised subsequently with CT scan report that there had been some scarring to my lungs, which has persisted to date. And I think this just supports the notion of how deep inspiration breath hold may have made a difference. I unfortunately got diagnosed with a second lesion, this time in my left breast. So what happened then was essentially a similar sequence of events, but in a slightly different order. Because of the previous radiotherapy experience, and because you're thinking about the left breast, there are additional organs like the heart that I thought, you know what, I really want to make sure. Fortunately for me, I had private health insurance and was able to rapidly access surface-guided radiotherapy. But there are still instructions about when to breathe. So I said, surely there's something we can do. What we came up with was an LED traffic light system. And the way that it worked was a very long LED strip arranged so that the radiotherapist in the control room were able to switch it on and off and change the colours. And the code that we came up with was red for stop, green for go. I think that there are lots of different ways where things can be improved. Practical resources can be implemented for people with hearing loss. I am really excited about the idea of LED traffic lights being rolled out across hospitals throughout the country, and for other people to not feel like that they're in that room alone and unable to communicate, because that's a horrible feeling.